Hey Rockstars, what's going on guys? Your coach Borino here. We are live on the Saturday morning. I'm waiting for my son who is auditioning for a band. So I have some time. I wanted to chat with you. Lovely Saturday to you. It's freezing here. What is the temperature here? It is cold. Well, let me set up this phone better. Alright, that's better. Hey guys. Nice to have you. Welcome, welcome. Hey, it's falling. Alright, so this is what's going on. It is Saturday morning. Lovely to have you. Alright. I'm doing this impromptu broadcast and it is not going the way I'd like it to. I'm gonna have my usual video gear here. So, but we'll make it work. Anyway. Good. Can you guys hear me? Is the audio good? Is the video good? Alright, cool. Sorry, it's falling out. Okay, now it's working. So lovely good morning to you. Saturday morning, it's about 10:40. On Saturday morning, I have some time because Philip is auditioning for a band, so I figured might as well talk to you and do a little video for you because there have been some cool posts lately about your trials and tribulations in this crazy world of real estate. How are you guys? Good to have you. Welcome. Borino coming to you live from a parking lot of a high school somewhere in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm not even sure where I am. Or Alexandria. We're in Alexandria. So here's what's going on. What is a high status agent? You hear me talk about it so much. Why does it even matter? Why do you even bother with this whole nonsense of high status agent? Why not just go out there, make some money and get some business? What do I mean by that? Did you guys see that video that Johanna just posted? She's in Downey, California, great agent, lovely. And she had an experience where she went to see a for sale by owner. She had a listing appointment, drove for like an hour to get there. Got there, nobody answered the door. Didn't get the listing. It ended up being listed with another agent. There was a for sale sign there. And how is it all connected? What can you do better next time so that you don't get stuck with shitty clients, people who don't show up? Hey, Todd, good to have you, my man. Welcome. You end up with good listings, clients who respect you, clients who are willing to pay you for your service, clients who appreciate what you do for them. So how does that all work? High status agent starts with a mentality. It starts with a mind game, first and foremost. That means in your head, you're the one who deserves the business, deserves the success, deserves good clients, deserves a lot of money. You don't need to prove to anything to anybody. And I do remember the days early on. Hey, Thelma. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. It's Borino. At the beginning, where I would be willing to drive anywhere, do anything, compromise, push, and pretty much, other than commit a crime, I was willing to, out of desperation, trying to get the listing. And every single one of you have been there. I know you have. We all have. What happens most of the time is something's going to bite you. One way or another, sooner or later, it doesn't work out that way. We want the business. We need the money. Juanita, good morning to you. Hey, welcome. But then in the mindset of it is hard to get listings, it is hard to get good clients, we're willing to compromise our standards, compromise our approach, and we get hit. We get hurt. It's an emotional roller coaster. It is a financial roller coaster. It is hard. Todd, right? You can agree. We all been there. So from Johanna's experience, here is what I recommend. Set a procedure, a simple procedure. How do you handle your process once you have the head part in the way? But start with that. Don't skip that. Because if you live in the world of abundance, that means if you look around and look at the numbers, there will be over 5 million transactions closed this year. Tons of business around you. Tons. Look in your MLS. How many properties were listed just yesterday that hit the MLS today? Check, just for the sake of it. Last week, how many property were listed? So there's tons of business around you. Get out of your head that bullshit that there is not enough. There's plenty. There's plenty. Hey, Victoria. You know what I mean? There's tons. There is tons. But if things get hard, it is easy for us to buy into how difficult it's going to be and how there's not enough bullshit. It's plenty. So get that out of, reset that. That would be my challenge for you. Hey, Shana, good morning to you as well. Nice to have you. My challenge for you for 2017 is reset your mindset first. And the things I do is I read good books. I look for evidence that support the abundance mindset. I talk to people who believe the same thing. I associate myself with people who believe the same thing. I read stories that support it, and there are tons of, lately you guys have been posting so many cool stories on Rockstars. How there's plenty of business, and it's a good time to be in the business, and there is success out there. Am I right? You see it, right? That's what makes our group so special. That's why I love it so much. That's why I love you guys so much. But that doesn't mean there is no struggle or there are no problems. So start with that. Reset your mind. Look for tools. Use the mind matrix if you have it. Go to workshops. Do the Tony Robbins. At least read his book. The Awaken the Giant Within completely changed my life. It was such an impactful book. So there are tools and resources, plenty of them around you. Ask people, what do you use? What works for you? How do you get your mindset? How do you get the game mindset on? Because this is a tough business. Don't kid yourself. And without the right mindset, it's going to be a struggle and discipline. And that doesn't work long term. That's only a short-term solution. So once the mindset is in, once you feel, yes, I deserve it, I know I got it, I'm a high status agent, you set up a process. You have a process for buyers, you have a process for sellers. I will address the buyer issue, the poor new agent, I saw it just now, we'll address it on Tuesday, how she was crying because after showing 50 properties, she lost the buyer. But today I want to address Johanna's issue and your issue, if you want more listings. Abundance mindset number 1. High status number 2. That means you have certain standards that you don't violate. Because that gives you a sense of confidence, that gives you a sense of worth, and that changes the perception that you have of yourself and your clients have of you. Where you no longer have to sell them on the idea, I'm different. You simply are different. In the way you act, in the way you behave, in the way you feel, and in the way you earn money. So this is what I mean. If I have a seller lead, from the very beginning, I establish I'm in control. I'm going to decide what's going to happen, when, and how. And the example I can give you is, I've been having some dental problems. You guys know the saga of my broken tooth, right? When I go to my dentist, I go through the front desk. I sign in. I wait. They decide when it's my turn. They take me in. I get in a chair. They decide what the next step was going to be, whether it's a checkup or a procedure. They decide which tool they're going to use, the doctor, the nurse, the assistant. They will explain it to me, but it's not like I'm going to tell them, hey, listen, use this, and then I want you to use that, and I absolutely don't want to use that. You know what I mean? They would call the security on me if I started something like that. They would kick me out. And yet, in this industry, it's so common for sellers, for your clients, to butt in, to tell you this is how it's going to be. Don't give that up. So high status agent, mindset number 1, feel good abundance number 2, and have set of standards number 3, where you are in control. And here's the truth, guys. The right clients, the motivated ones, the nice ones who see the value in you, who appreciate you, who are committed to selling, will have no problem following your lead. That's what they want in the first place. They want somebody who is competent, but you must be competent, obviously, but that's assumed. So you have a procedure. A lead says, yes, Kathy, we want to sell. Yes, Emonia, help us. Fantastic. Here's the process. You qualify them. You ask a few questions. You find out up front, can they sell? Are they in a position to sell? Would it benefit them to sell? Are they nice people? And can I help them? Is it the type of client I want to work with? Again, it goes back to that mindset. Have you ever had an idiot client where from the beginning you knew these people will be paying the ass? Huh? How many have you had? Be honest. And then it came back to haunt you. And here's the problem. You spent so much time and mental energy and effort and sometimes money spinning your wheels, working your ass off for these idiots, while you could be getting 3, 4 other good listings, helping nice people, getting paid way more. Right or wrong? Yeah? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Raymond says a bunch, of course. We all have. We've been there. Just a human nature of scarcity. So don't violate your rules. Set a standard. Who is your ideal client? Describe it. You can write down right now probably 5-6 bullet points that matter the most. They're honest, they're motivated, they're realistic, they appreciate you, they're willing to work with you, they're willing to pay you. Those are the things that matter to me, and I'm sure your list would be about the same. And then don't violate that. It goes back to the mindset. If you believe there are plenty of people out there who are nice, you're going to find them. Remember that story? Earl Nightingale talks about it, where a traveler comes to an edge of a town, and there is a man sitting there, and he asks, what kind of people live in this town? And he says, you're going to find some really nasty, bad people here. And that's who lives in that town. And when you go there, that's your experience. That's going to be your expectations. As opposed to going to the next town, and when you say, what kind of people live here? Nice, friendly people. You're going to meet nice, friendly people. Expectations. Set expectations. Set your standards. If you believe there are plenty of nice, motivated, cool people out there, you're going to find them. And don't deviate from them. If somebody doesn't match, it's fine. Not all of you are my student. Not all of you resonate with what I teach, whether it's my language or my approach or my directness. Here, Robin says, preach, Sarge. Yeah, of course. And that's okay. Be okay with that. Be okay and trust yourself that you can always find more of those who fit. Make your list. Stick with it. You deserve it. Your business deserves it. Just do it to yourself. Why would you abuse yourself with all kinds of assholes? And God knows there are some in this crazy business. So stick with your standards. Hold on to your standards. And you know what? Your clients will appreciate it. Your clients will appreciate so much that you have these standards. It's so attractive when somebody has high standard, when somebody can say, you know what, I really appreciate you guys, you're awesome, but unfortunately I will not be able to help you. You're not my client. It's going to blow them away. It's going to blow them away. Roxy wants to know, where did you study your mindset and affirmations? Any specific person or program you follow? I recommend Tony Robbins. If you read the Awaken the Giant Within, it is a great book. Dr. Joe Dispenza, great book. I will post the links when we finish. I will look up the exact links and I'll post them. A couple of books that I recommend. You Are a Badass. Great, another great book. So books help me a lot. And once a year, I go to a good workshop. I attend at least one good seminar that helps me grow as a person, that expands my mind. That helps me a lot. I'm hanging out with you guys. There are others, and I'm sure people will chime in later who will share other stuff that works for them. But this is what works for me. So have standards. Mindset number 1, abundance number 2, client standards number 3, process number 4. What happens if somebody picks up the phone and says, Roxy, quiet is great for introverts. Yes, excellent. How do you like The Badass? It's a good book, right, Roxy? Yeah, I really liked it. Jen, what is her name? Jen Sapir. Hey, Sue, welcome. So now, process. High status agent, be a process. Have a process. Have a system that you follow. Have a step-by-step process. So how do you do that? Step 1, you qualify. You qualify them. They must qualify. You ask them a few questions. Do you ever feel intimidated or shy or insecure asking people questions? Or I'm going to ask them too many questions and they're gonna not answer, or they're going to be turned off. You ever felt that way? Don't. On contrary, imagine you go to a doctor. You have a headache. You come to a doctor and you say, Doc, I need help. I'm having these terrible headaches. And the doctor says, come on in, lay down, we're going to operate. You go, what the fuck? What? Don't you have to do like x-rays and examine and do some tests first? And yet that's what so many real estate agents do. We want to sell. Great, I'll be right over with the paperwork. Well, hold on. Right? Have a process. Qualify them. Ask questions. Get to know their situation. Next, they're going to understand what's going to happen next. If you're clear, you can help them. You tell them this is what's going to happen next. John Sue, looking forward to helping you. What we're going to do next is you're going to get a pre-listing package. You're going to take a look at it. You're going to come to my office at 4:45 on Thursday. Looking forward to meeting you both. We're going to chat about the situation. If we like each other, and if we agree that our next step is to do work together, we're going to sign the paperwork and get going. Real simple. Because if they plan to stall, or if they plan some shenanigans, wouldn't you be better off knowing right up front? On that phone call, rather than going through the process like poor Johanna had to. Johanna? Am I butchering her name? I hope not. I'm pretty good at that. You know what I mean? Where she prepared everything, prepared the paperwork, prepared the CMA, drove for an hour there just to find out that the property was already listed with somebody else. Wouldn't it be better to get it right on the phone? But what if they don't answer? You don't proceed. It's really simple. If one of the steps they stall, or if they don't take the next step with you, you stop. Sure, be flexible, absolutely. But don't deviate from your process. Don't deviate from your standard. I don't want my dentist to screw around and improvise. I don't want my tax guy. I don't want my lawyer. I don't want my accountant. Nobody. I want them to follow a process where they know it works. That's why I pay them the money. That's why they pay you the money. Because you know your shit. You know how to do it. So what's the process? You pre-qualify. They get a pre-listing package. You confirm the appointment. You confirm. You don't go on an appointment, because I know you're not doing it in your office, even though I've been telling you for years to do that. You go there, even though you didn't confirm the appointment. I confirm the appointment, or my assistant does. Hey, Sue, Peter, just wanted to let you know Borino's very excited about the appointment. Wanted to confirm that everybody's going to be there and that you're ready to rock and roll. Thumbs up. And if it doesn't work out, or if something happens at work, or they have to reschedule, you don't waste any time. And you are appreciated as a professional. Your perception will go up if you do it this way. What's the next step? You prepare the CMA. You're well prepared in two ways. You know what you're talking about. That means you know the market. And you have a good CMA prepared, good presentation. Wrap it up 25, 30 minutes, done. Real simple. What if they don't agree on your price? Same thing. It's another step. Are you willing to take overpriced listings? I don't recommend it. I think it's a pain in the ass. Thelma is laughing when I say come to the office. The look on your face is hilarious. Because I know you fuckers. You don't do it, even though I tell you it's a much better way to do presentations. Much more professional, easier. Your results will be better. You're going to get more listings as a result because you're in a business environment. You're in control from the very beginning in your space. But, you know, you don't do much. I mean, we had Elias and Alejandra were on my boot camp call on Wednesday. And I asked them how well are they going to do. And they're going to close over 50 transactions this year. Make a lot of money. They're doing well. And they've been with me for about 2 years. And now they admitted they only use 70% of what I tell them. So imagine what they're going to do if they add another 30% to it. They're going to crush it. Thelma says they won't come. Well, Thelma, how many times have you asked, and what was the real problem? And why did you deviate your standards? See, what they many times is they just probe you. They test. They test your resolve. They test, well, why should we come to the office? That's inconvenient for us. Well, fuck you. I'm a professional here. I know what I'm doing. It's going to be my terms. Does your dentist come to your house? Does your doctor? You can be dying today. God forbid. You can be in a really bad shape. The doctor's not going to come to you. They're going to haul your ass in an ambulance to a hospital. Who comes to the house? Jehovah Witnesses, door-to-door salesmen, and real estate agents. That's it. Some company you're in. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't violate it. It's in your head. It's the way you ask. It's the way you feel about it. If you're not 100% convinced, they won't be either. You got to believe that that's the best service to them is for them to come to your office. You have all the tools. You have all the resources. They get to meet your boss. They get to see the environment where you work. It's a much better presentation. Yeah, Carlos, exactly. Spot on. Come to the office. You're looking for an agent who will get the job done, then you've come to the right place. Now I can help you. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So let's talk about the price. That'll be the next step. What if they stall you on price? Well, if they stall you on price, it's only for two reasons. One of two, or maybe a combination. One, selling is not that important to them. They have time to play the games. And two, you fucked up. You screwed up the presentation somewhere. It got derailed somewhere. And you know what? It's usually not when you actually talk about the price. It's usually somewhere at the beginning. Where at the beginning, you did not establish clearly you're the expert, you're the authority, you can be trusted. Because remember what I always tell you, the reason you're getting listings is because they like you, number one, that's the connection, trust you, and respect you. That means they respect your opinion. They're not going to argue with you. They're not going to throw a bunch of objections at you. They will follow your lead. When my dentist says open, I open. You know? I'm like, oh, not right now, dog, or just like that. Or fuck, we don't have time for that nonsense. So you have a process for it. You have a system for it. You have a simple procedure where you know this is the best way to help these people, sometimes in spite of themselves. And you don't deviate from that. Stick with it. And that sticking with it, that resolve has a tremendous power to it. Because there's a difference between having standards and procedures where you know this serves my clients the best, and being bendable. Flexible, yes, be flexible. And yes, there are circumstances where you going to the house is the best solution. Can be an elderly couple where driving is just difficult for them. There could be circumstances. Be flexible. Do what it takes to get the listing. But if you hear me and if you test it, watch that them coming to your office is a much better solution in most cases. It just works better for everybody. High status agent, guys. That means I feel confident. I trust in what I do. But you know where the real problem is? I'll tell you where the real problem is, other than the confidence and the things we talked about up till now. The real problem is you don't prospect enough. You don't have enough active and passive lead generation systems in place where you can afford to say no to that one, yes to that one. Because, and be honest, if you have one or two listing appointments, how many listing appointments do you have scheduled for the month of December? If you have one, it's a very different dynamic than if you have 5. And the way you get 5 listing appointments, the connection is really simple. Remember, I talk about the 3 moving parts. Leads, appointments, listings. Lead generation, follow-up, presentation. That's the secret. And if it's broken, you know where it breaks most of the time? Hey, Gail, good to have you. You know where it breaks most of the time? Lead generation. You're not doing enough to passively bringing in and actively going after good, qualified, high probability leads. And if you don't do that, and of course, consequently, you don't have enough appointments. Consequently, if you don't have enough appointments, you're going to act differently when you do sit down with the seller, because the desperation kicks in, because the neediness kicks in, the low status kicks in, right or wrong. Speaking from experience, by the way. Yes, I'm pointing one finger at you and 4 at myself. But once you figure this out, once you get that sense of there's plenty, I can do this, I got this, there are plenty of nice people who will follow gladly my lead. You know how refreshing that will be for them? When suddenly a great agent shows up who takes control. It's like driving. You know, I like to drive. But there are times where I don't want to, where I want to enjoy the scenery, where I want to look out the window. I want to take a nap. I want to listen to the music. I want to do other things. And it's nice to have my wife, Johanna, grab the wheel and drive. And I know I'm in good hands. I trust her. So now imagine how your clients feel, where they know they can now release the control, where they desperately hold on to the car because of all the other assholes and idiots out there. And they can just sit back and relax, focus on other things, knowing that you take good care of them. It's a relief for them as well. You understand that? So that's what you're bringing to the table. Good morning, guys. Sam is just joining us. Pat is here. Awesome. Nice to have you. We're talking about what is it to be a high-status agent. I talked about having the right mindset, believe in yourself, knowing that you can bring some contribution to the table, knowing that there's plenty of business around you. And what I challenged you guys to do is check your MLS. How many properties were listed up till today, this week alone? And how many of those could you have had? And here's a better question. What can you do next week to have some of them? Not next month, not next year. What can you do next week to have those listings? Ask yourself that. What can you do as now a high status agent? Well, first, leads, appointments, listings, mindset. There's another part to it. When you don't trust yourself, when you feel low status, why? Other than the things we talked about, why is it? Hey, Steve. Nice to have you. Steve is Gail's husband. Did you guys like Gail's presentation yesterday? Wasn't that great? She crushed it. It was so good, Gail. So many great comments. Such a helpful info from somebody who's walking the walk, who's doing it daily. If you are on Listing University, we just posted it this morning. Check out the replay. So why not? What's stopping you from getting a listing next week? What's in the way? And you know what sometimes that is? There's a leak somewhere. Somewhere it's leaking in your status, in the way you feel. And it could be, well, I'm too new. That's one of the reasons you feel like I'm not ready yet. I've been in the business long enough. You know what? I know agents who have been in the business 15, 20 years, and they still struggle. You may know some, right? Who've been at it for a long time, and they struggle. And they're barely making ends meet, especially now with the technology so rapidly changing. It's becoming harder and harder for them to keep up. You know people like that? So don't buy into the years in the business equals prosperity bullshit. It helps if you have it, but if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Many of my students, Jazz, one of them, 2 years in the business, earning $70,000 a month on an average month. Can be done. Will everybody do it? No, of course not. But it can be done. It's within your reach. Starts here, like we talked about. So is it your competence? What does competent mean? That means you know how to handle situations, you understand the business well enough. The cool thing about this business, it's not going to take you years and years and years to reach that level where you can earn that money. Yes, some things you must know. Market, number one. You must know what you're talking about. The confidence sitting down with the sellers as a high status agent will come from knowing 143 Oak Street, bigger house than yours, sold for $450,000, wasn't as nice as yours. Took 47 days to sell. Imagine quoting this and being able to provide this information to the seller with confidence. Instant credibility, instant status, know your market. And that shouldn't take you more than a few weeks to preview properties, to understand what's selling, what's not selling, where is it selling, how much. And knowing nuances like you have two properties. You're doing a CMA, one sold for $50,000 more. Why? On paper, they seem very similar. They should have been the same. Get to the bottom of why, because that will give you insights about what's going on in your market and what are the deviations. That's where a lot of your confidence will come from. Practicing this stuff, another important point. Get in a habit of just being on top of your game. You know, Gail and I, after the presentation, we had a little chat over Facebook, and she said some really nice things about me. And she was commenting how confident and how effective my presentations are, whether I do videos for you or these live broadcasts or my webinars. And it took years to get to that point. But a lot of it is practice. Can you practice for 30 minutes every day? Challenge yourself. Because that's going to take to reach that high status level. Because when you practice in front of the seller during your listing presentation, that's a very expensive game. And a very expensive lesson at the end very often, isn't it? Right? When you don't get the listing, somebody else snags it. What does it cost you? You just paid somebody $5,000 to teach you how to do a better presentation, how to be prepared better. So it's a lot cheaper, faster, more effective, and more pleasant to practice with a partner. So those are the secrets to be a high status agent. And then I posted, I think it was yesterday, where I asked you, how would you act differently? What would you do differently if you were a top gun in your town? If you were that top agent? And the reason I posted it, I wanted to see your comments, and then I posted underneath it, start acting like that now. Because it doesn't work the way people think. Once I reach that level, I will become. Become first, and then you will reach that level. So here's my challenge to you. Here's the question I would like you to ask over and over until some answers will come. What do I have to change next week to become a successful high-status agent? Write it down. What do I have to change next week to become a high-status agent? What do you have to change to reach that next step, the next level? And I guarantee you some of the stuff we probably talked about today, which is mindset, practice, have a set of procedures, have an ideal client list, and same for buyers. Have a list of qualities or qualifications they need to meet in order for them to work with you. You're not just like, oh, please work with me, I need the commission. Don't be that. Don't need to be that. Plenty of nice people around there. All right, my friends, was that helpful? Was that good? Did you enjoy it? I'm doing this from my phone, so I apologize for the potato quality. This is not our home studios, but I'm here in a parking lot waiting for my son who's auditioning for a band. So, and yes, I'm a little nervous because I want him to do well. He's playing trumpet in an orchestra. So I wanted to talk to you about it because it inspired me, the post you've been posting on the Rockstar. Anyway, we'll do our regular live on Tuesday again here on Rockstar. It'll be the last one this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to wrap up the year and set up some hefty goals and ambitions for our next year. Good stuff? Yes? Yeah, Todd likes the idea of creating a perfect client. Yes, do that. Make a list, and it can be short, simple, a few bullet points. It would be probably, you're going to end up with about 8 important bullet points. And it'll be very easy, Todd, for you to see, okay, Mrs. Jones wants to sell her property on Oak Street. Does she meet my client requirements? It will also make your prospecting more effective because now you'll be very clear who you're after and who you're not. Yeah? So do that. Do that for buyers as well. I don't want you to work with buyers, but I know you. You guys won't listen. You need to learn some painful, expensive lessons on your own, and that's okay. That's sometimes the best way to learn, I guess, if you can't learn from my experiences. All right, guys. Nice chatting with you as always. I should do more of these. I really enjoy chatting with you, and it inspires me to share from the heart and share the trials and tribulations. Rosie, nice to have you, Miss Hire. How are you? You and Roger crushing it this year. You're going to have a really good year. Am I right? My students, how long have we been together? You came to one of my first workshops here in DC after I moved. That was about 3 years ago, and you were kind of getting your career and your business off the ground. How are you doing now? What are you on track to close this year? I saw some really good news. You had like 5 transactions closed in 1 month. That was really good, right? Yeah, good year. What do you track? What do you project? Yeah, so we've been together 3 years. What are you on track to close this year in terms of transactions closed? What do you estimate? And I want to ask Rosie that because I want to show you what's possible. That within 1, 2, maybe 3 years, you can have a very profitable, very good. Wow, look at that. On track to close 50 transactions this year. That's perfect. That's wonderful. You're going to make good money. That's a nice income. Every single one of you can do that. That is really great. Hans wants to know if I will be doing a one-day workshop in Vegas after all. We will not. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. My wife, Johanna, has a very successful staging business. Wow, Rosie, you're on track 80 next year. I want to be part of that. Let's connect, and I have some ideas for you guys to do that. That is fantastic. That's exciting. Here's the deal with Vegas. We did a 2-day workshop this year in Vegas. That was really fun. That was the lead machine. We will not do lead machine next year, but my wife, Hannah, is a very successful stager, and she is attending a 3-day conference in Vegas. So I will be in Vegas in January. If you guys have an office that can help us organize a 1-day workshop where I'll come and do a little presentation, maybe half a day, maybe, a day, I will be there. So let's talk. Send me a PM or reach out, send me an email, borino@expartplus.com, and we'll talk. I'll be in town, so, she'll be sitting in a staging workshop that I'm not all that crazy about. So maybe I'll just escape and do a little workshop with you guys. So that's a possibility. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a terrific weekend, everybody. I'll see you on next live on Tuesday. Think about what we talked about today. There are tremendous possibilities and great opportunities out there. The market is changing. The days of the same old are done. That's never coming back. The 2017 will be about a small group of people crushing it big and a big group of people leaving. There'll be a shift in the marketplace. Watch. There'll be 8. All right, guys. Looks like we're done in the audition room. Got to pick up my son. Thank you for being here today. I'll talk to you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend. Coach Borino signing off. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody.